A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George. On a sign language interpreter tonight is Adams Maina. And now, President William Ruto seems determined to make new forays into coastal region with the intent of wooing the locals into his political fold. Today, the president toured Lamu County. GBS reporter Victor Oduny has more details.
Call it wooing the coastal region to his political turf by all means possible. The region perceived as the stronghold of ODM leader Raila Odinga, but the president seems to take advantage of the newly found rapport between him and Raila Odinga. Today, the president took his forays into Lamu County.
Ndio nawauliza ninyi watu wa hapa Ndao na watu wa Lamu hii, jameni, tuungane na tushirikiane. Umoja ni nguvu, kutengana ni udhaifu. Musikubali tutenganishwe na ukabila na chuki na migawanyiko. Hapo tutaharibu mpango na taratibu ya transformation ya taifa letu la Kenya. Na msiwajali wale matapeli, wale wachache ambao hawana mpango. Nimejaribu kuwasikiza kwa makini. Wale wanaongea kwenye mitandao, wanaongea kwenye maredio, wanazungusha maneno kwenye magazeti, ati mpango yao yote eti ni kumuondoa Ruto. Hawana mpango nyingine yoyote. Hawana sera, hawana mpango, hawana maoni, hawana maono, hawana chochote. Niwaambie wale, mwenye kuweka viongozi na kuwaondoa ni Mwenyezi Mungu, sio nyinyi.
And what a better way to win the region's support without development projects.
Ndio mimi nimekuja hapa. Watu wa Ndao. Hapa sasa, kabla ya Disemba mwaka huu, mutakuwa mnawakisha mastima kwenu. Na hii mpango ni ya karibu, tukiongeza na program ya last mile hapa Lamu East, ni shilingi milioni 307. Na mpango yetu ni kufikisha stima kwa manyumba ya wananchi hapa Lamu East, manyumba 3,000 mpya ambazo zitawakisha stima makwao. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie vile vile barabara hii ya kutoka Lamu hapa, kwa sababu samaki mnazotoa baharini, mikoko ambayo mnatoa sehemu hii, kazi zile zingine zote mnayoshughulika nayo pande hii, itatusaidia kama mtafikisha kwenye masoko Kenya mzima na hata nchi za nje. Sababu hiyo ndio tumekamilisha Lamu Port.
Local leaders led by Governor Issa Timami assured the president of their full support.
Kwa hivyo mimi namwambia rais, hawa watu wa porojo, hawa watu wa fitina, na namhakikishia 2027 Lamu itapiga block vote UDA. Lamu tutapiga block vote. Wapende Lamu ni
vile umefanya, umeweka record ya maisha. Kitu cha pili, record ambayo umeweka rais, hii stima ambayo umetuletea hizi vijiji vitatu. Hizi vijiji kutoka dunia iumbwe hakujapata stima kutoka dunia.
Huyo mzee wa Wamunyoro aambiwe kwamba tumemwambia kutoka Lamu kwamba siasa za ukabila, siasa za udini hatuzitaki Kenya, na kama ana mahali ya kuzuia hao Wakikuyu wake sisi sote atuweke hapo Wamunyoro, basi aendelee na hii siasa mbaya ya kufanya siasa ya ukabila.
Victor Oduny, GBS News at 9.
People's Liberation Party, which was initially known as the National Rainbow Coalition, NAC, today was officially rebranded in a colorful ceremony in Upper Hill, Nairobi, that was attended by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, DAP Kenya Party leader Eugene Wamalwa, among other leaders who showed their unwavering determination aimed to remove President William Ruto from office. David Karani reports.
from white, red and green colors to a beautiful purple, lilac and white symbolizing purity, clarity and liberation as the initial NARC party, which has been into existence for over 20 years and now morphing into the People's Liberation Party, PLP, with one slogan, Purpose of Unity.
As People's Liberation Party, we are not just rebranding to have a new look. We are also renewing our commitment to the people of Kenya, our commitment to place your needs first, to fight, to unite and liberate Kenya.
The launch of this political party, which was attended by the opposition bigwigs, was turned into a political battlefield as every leader who took to the podium directed a missiling attacks to the president for overtaxing and abducting Kenyans. And according to them, their unity is purposely to eject him out of the office in the 2027 general elections.
It's going to be bigger than 2002. It will be. Because Kenyans have every reason to rise up and say no to misrule, to injustice.
Mimi ni mtu ya kusikiza ground na nimesikiza across the country. And Kenyans are telling us, our leaders, please come up with a formula to send Kasogo home one way.
Ile answer watu ya Kenya wanagoja ni Ruto must go. Usilete answer nyingine, mfanye convention, mfanye mkutano, mfanye retreat, mfanye crusade, Ruto must go. Kwa sababu ya hiyo kazi mbaya William Ruto ametufanyia, hata na sisi tunataka kumlipa hivyo hivyo. Sasa barabara yake na safari yake 2027, barabara ianze State House, iende Westland, ifike Naivasha, iende Nakuru, iteremke Sarga, iende mpaka Eldoret, imalizikie Sugoi, aende asiende.
As the opposition kept their attacks to President William Ruto, who was in Lamu launching several projects in what Gachagua stated in his statement as a PR projects show, the head of state could not swallow their words but instead chose to retaliate to their accusations and reassured them of his main agenda, aimed to unite the country through equal distribution of the national resources.
Ati mpango yao yote eti ni kumuondoa Ruto. Hawana mpango nyingine yoyote. Hawana sera, hawana mpango, hawana maoni, hawana maono, hawana chochote. Niwaambie wale mwenye kuweka viongozi na kuwaondoa ni Mwenyezi Mungu, sio nyinyi. Nyinyi tafuteni sera. Hapa tunazungumzia barabara kwa majina. Nyinyi mnaongea ukabila kwa majina.
Several political realignments are currently happening within the country. Should we expect the imaginable unity in the political arena? And even as the opposition unites, who is likely to fly their flag in the 2027 general elections? That is the question that many Kenyans are asking at the moment. Between Kalonzo, Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa and Karua, who will fly the flag? Time will tell. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
The Council of Governors has hit back at the national government for condemning Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja over a standoff with the Kenya Power and Lighting Corporation, KPLC. The Council of Governors chairman and Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi accused the government of unfairly targeting Sakaja while ignoring the unchecked power wielded by KPLC. Speaking in Wajir, Abdullahi said that KPLC has operated without oversight and whimsically switching off power in counties without consultation, putting essential services at risk. According to Abdullahi, KPLC has acted like an untouchable entity, often inconveniencing county governments and private consumers alike. He urged that while the national government rushed to criticize Sakaja, it failed to acknowledge its role in addressing the long-standing grievances against KPLC. The chairman pointed out the Nairobi County's frustration reflects broader issues that counties have endured for years, including the massive debts KPLC owes in unpaid rates now, way leave charges and water bills amounting to billions of shillings.
We note with great concern the ongoing impasse between Nairobi County and the Kenya Power and Lighting Company, KPLC, which has persisted for several days. While it's unfortunate that the situation has escalated to this extent, it is crucial to highlight the long-standing issue. For a decade, KPLC has wielded unchecked power over counties and other entities, often resorting to abrupt power disconnections without due process or consideration or regard of the broader impact. KPLC has a well-documented history of disconnecting power to critical county institutions, including hospitals, water installations, and sewerage services, severely disrupting operations and endangering lives. However, when the roles are reversed, the company swiftly assumes the position of a victim.
Democratic Movement Party has today started its tour in the Western region, leading and opening ODM party offices in Bungoma. The Orange Democratic Movement Party stated that the party is intact and has reassured that ODM members on ODM forming the government in the 2027 general elections. Davis Karani now reports.
Kwa maono yangu, na nyinyi sijui mnaona namna gani. Kwa maono yangu, there has never been a better opportunity for ODM to form government than 2027.
It is a statement that breeds hope to this huge and the longest-serving Kenya's opposition party as it heads into making its 20th anniversary since its formation amid the division experienced currently, which has been rejected by leaders who led the opening of the ODM party offices in Bungoma County.
Mimi nilikutana na baba kabla aende Addis, nikamwambia Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, imani ambayo umeweka ndani yangu miaka hii 7 nikiwa katibu wako mkuu wa chama. Wewe ukienda safari kutafuta mambo ya AU na kuhakikishia utakaporudi utakuta chama chako jinsi ambavyo ulikiwacha. Baba yako akitoka kuenda safari amekuacha kwa boma, hafai kurudi akute umeuza mabati. Kitanda ile alikuwa analalia umeuza. Bibi zake wale aliwacha wametoroka wamerudi kwao. Wewe ni kijana mzuri kweli?
The huge opposition party has been on a cold war among its leaders, and the return of Odinga is expected to breathe unity since all the party members and officials are set to meet on the 20th anniversary celebrations tomorrow in Busia County, which is expected to be attended by all party delegates.
Mimi nimeona one of our own, na sisi Waluya tuache hii tabia ya wazee. When a Luya is being attacked at the national level, unapata Mluya mwingine ndio wako mstari ya mbele, hati yeye ndiye anaongoza hiyo kikosi. Hii ni tabia gani hii? Huyu mtu anaitwa Ladwa, wachaneni na yeye. Huyu jamaa siasa yake ilianza wakati wa Moi. Ni ule mtu alikuwa anaimbianga Moi, tawala Kenya, tawala, tawala. Hiyo sauti.
A British businessman on a routine trip for work ends up brutally murdered, his body found tied up in a sack miles from the city. Who killed Campbell Scott and why? As investigators dig deeper, the story gets stranger. From a high-end hotel to one of Nairobi's toughest neighborhoods, his final hours paint a haunting picture. Susan Nganga reports.
An autopsy was conducted today on Campbell Scott, a 58-year-old senior director at FICO, a global credit scoring firm, at the Makueni Referral Hospital, to determine the cause of death. Scott had traveled to Nairobi for a business conference at the luxurious JW Marriott Hotel. Known for his role in expanding FICO's reach, Scott was later seen on February 16, wearing a Scotland rugby shirt and smiling as he left the hotel. He was spotted at a popular bar in Westlands earlier that day, enjoying his evening. Scott later took a taxi to Pipeline, where his trail went cold. 6 days later, a gruesome discovery. A cattle herder stumbled upon Scott's body, stuffed in a sack, near a tourist viewpoint in Makongo Forest, 60 miles southeast of Nairobi. His hands and legs were bound, and the state of his body pointed to torture before his death. Shockingly, the sack also contained ripe pineapples. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
We are taking a short break. Keep your feedback streaming on the social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We'll be right back.
So through the 4 gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고,
He carried our sins.
십자가에 못 박혀 주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins.
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb.
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데.
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap years. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun.
AS and A levels is a qualification program that is advanced. That is after one has completed the high GCSE program, then they advise to continue for AS and A level. AS typically is a 1-year program, and A levels is done in the 2nd year after completing the AS level. And this one equips the student with the knowledge that is recommended for the university and also by employers outside the countries or within the country.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back. The National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse arrested 2 individuals in Nairobi for their involvement in the illegal sale of shisha. The raid, which targeted a well-known entertainment spot in Langata, resulted in the seizure of several shisha-related products. The operation comes after a recent ruling by the Court of Appeal that upheld the country's ban on the sale and promotion of shisha.
2 individuals, including a nightclub supervisor and a shisha seller, have been arrested during a crackdown by the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse at a popular entertainment venue in Nairobi. The operation, led by NACADA's Director of Compliance and Enforcement, James Koskei, took place at Paris Lounge in Langata. During the operation, a significant consignment of shisha products was seized, including shisha bongs, cartons of charcoal, and cartons of assorted flavors. This raid is part of NACADA's routine compliance checks, targeting the illegal trade of shisha products within the city. Koskei emphasized the operation was in line with NACADA's mandate to control alcohol and drug abuse in the country, pointing out that the team was at a venue specifically to enforce regulations related to the sale and use of shisha. The crackdown follows a ruling from the Court of Appeal that upheld the legality of Gazette Notice, which bans the sale, promotion, and use of shisha in Kenya.
Gazette Notice number 292 of 2017 is in force. This is because our Court of Appeal in December managed to throw away the petition that had been filed against that particular Gazette notice. So that means that Gazette notice is in effect, and we are therefore here to enforce it.
Koskei reaffirmed that the ban remains in full force and that NACADA will continue its efforts to ensure compliance with the regulations. The authority has warned entertainment venues that they face severe consequences if they continue to flout the law.
So this is a warning that we are giving to other sellers, manufacturers, and those who offer shisha for sale and use, that we are coming to you now that the law allows us to enforce this. We are coming to you. We want to ask all Kenyans and all business people that it is illegal to deal in shisha.
The two individuals arrested during the operation are currently in custody as further investigations are underway. NACADA has vowed to continue its vigilance in enforcing regulations designed to safeguard public health and combat illegal substance abuse. The public has been reminded to adhere to the laws governing the use and sale of controlled substances, and NACADA has called for collaboration in ensuring a safer and healthier environment for all Kenyans. Trizatiengo, GBS News.
Siaya Governor James Orengo has reaffirmed the need for strict adherence to the Constitution, cautioning against any attempts to alter its core principles, speaking at Akala Market in South Game Ward, where he launched the upgrading of Akala and Dori Ring Roads to standards now. Orengo emphasized that Kenyans do not want the Constitution dismantled. He urged leaders to uphold the vision of Kenya's founders and the architects of the 2010 Constitution, stressing that any governance changes must preserve the nation's democratic framework. Now, Orengo linked his sentiments to the ongoing consultation led by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, which he said aimed to establish a structured political framework that ensures equal treatment of all citizens. Flanked by Siaya County Assembly Speaker George Okode and South Game MCA Otuom Polo, he underscored that every leader must serve all Kenyans without discrimination. We don't want to feel like strangers in our own country, he said, insisting that governance must not be based on ethnicity, but on fairness and inclusivity. His remarks come against a backdrop of rising security concerns in Siaya, which he attributed to misplaced priorities by local security agencies. He criticized law enforcement for focusing on petty offenses such as drunkenness and lack of ID cards while failing to address serious criminal threats. Calling for a shift in security priorities, Orengo urged authorities to protect civilians from real dangers rather than harassing locals over minor issues.
And we don't want to be in Kenya as if we are trespassers or visitors in Kenya. We belong to this land. Kenya is our land. Any president must serve the people of Kenya, despite of where they come from. And that is why we have this new constitution. We don't want the constitution to be deconstructed. The constitution must remain with the vision and the spirit of the founders of Kenya and who came with the constitution of 2010. Hii serikali ya Kenya inaongozwa na katiba, na wenye katiba ambao walipigia katiba kura ni wananchi wa Kenya.
In Kirinyaga County, now, the County Commissioner Hussein Alaso has issued a stern warning to residents of South Garima Mwea, urging them not to be incited by politicians to take the law into their own hands. This follows rising insecurity in the region, largely attributed to ongoing land disputes. In a meeting at Ikunguru Center, the Commissioner emphasized the importance of peaceful settlement and swift action against fraudsters.
Hussein Alaso, the County Commissioner of Kirinyaga, addressed residents of South Garima at Ikirungu Center today, where he warned them against being swayed by politicians who might incite them to violence in response to ongoing land disputes.
Lakini sisi leo tumekuja hapa, mambo ya usalama pia haitaki siasa. Haitaki nini? Ikiwa kuna wanasiasa fulani wanakuja kuchochea. Wanaambia nyinyi muende mchukue sheria mkononi mwa. Huyu mwanasiasa mjue anawadanga. Wacha niambie hii sasa ni uchungu. Hii maneno nitakuja kusema sasa ni uchungu. Ni nini? Ukipatikana, ukifanya nini? Umeua mtu. Umefanya nini? Hata wewe ni mwali. Utashikwa na ustakiwa na mada. Utasema nini? Utashikwa, ustakiwa na nini? Mada. Mwenye amekuchochea ako wapi? Ako mbali sana.
In his address, Alaso also urged the public to report any suspected members of illegal gangs, such as the notorious Mungeke, to the nearest police station.
Hata waitwe kwa jina gani? Si ndio? Wawe wanaitwa nini? Monjoria. Ama wawe wanaitwa nini? Mungiki. Mzuri tuende kwa afisa wetu wa polisi. Si ndio? Tuambie hawa wakora wako wapi? Hapa. Hawa askari yetu wafanye nini? Washike. Wafanye nini? Kazi. Lakini wewe ukiamka wewe mkiamka museme huyu ni Mungiki. Si ndio? Leo tumuchome. Nani anaweza kuniambia kama huyu ni Mungiki ama huyu si Mungiki? Nani? Manake hakuna number plate. Hakuna number plate. Iko mali imeandikwa Mungiki hapo kwa uso. Kwa hivyo kuna uwezekano ya kwamba mnaweza kuwa mnaua mtu ambaye hana nini? Hana hatia.
Residents, however, have taken matters into their own hands, setting ablaze the homes and properties of those suspected of being involved in these gangs, making it difficult for security forces to determine the truth.
Na tulikuwa tunalalamika juu ya security. Ile mambo imeleta hii maneno ya kuchoma nyumba, kulikuwa na hakukuwa na security hapa. Kwa hivyo watu wakainuka, wakaanza kuchukua mikononi mwao sheria. Mimi bwana sisi unaniona hapa, nilikuwa mmoja wa wale watu targeted na wale majangiri. Hawa watu wanakupiga, wanachukua pikipiki, wanakuambia unaenda polisi gani kustaki? Wanakuambia Ikurungu. Wanakupeleka hapo kwa geti. Uwastaki. Hawa ni watu hatari. Hata kama isipokuwa saa hii wameenda. Bwana sisi, hawa watu sasa vile umewaambia, tutakuwa na usalama.
As insecurity continues to plague the region, local authorities are urging residents to work together with law enforcement to maintain peace and bring those responsible for the violence to justice. The commissioner's message was clear: violence and vigilantism will not solve the region's problems. With tensions high and the threat of further violence looming, the people of South Garima and Mwea are left to deal with a deepening crisis. For now, the call for peaceful resolution and accountability remains at the forefront of the county's efforts to restore order and safety. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
A family in Munyutu village, Embu, is in distress after the body of their son, a surgeon, went missing from a mortuary. Dr. Munene died in a suspected road accident, but his family doubts the circumstances of his death. They were planning a second postmortem when they discovered his wife had secretly taken the body now. Funeral plans are on hold and the family is pleading for help to find his remains and uncover the truth.
A family in Munyutu village is desperately searching for the body of their son, which was secretly taken from a mortuary by his wife. It is said as per Munene's wife, Masi Wangui, Dr. Naftari Munene, a 41-year-old consultant surgeon at Kirinyaga Level 5 Hospital, died in a suspected road accident on February 8. However, his family is questioning the circumstances of his death. Munene's mother, Esther Wanja, showcased that the family wanted a second postmortem after being dissatisfied with the first one, since it was done too quickly without their involvement. Wanja highlighted that before they could proceed, they found out his body had been taken from Gakwegori Funeral Home in Embu without their knowledge.
Jumatatu nikienda Gakwegori kuambia watu wa Kakwegere nitachukua mwili niupeleke general ufanywe postmortem. Watu wa Kakwegere wakaniambia mwili ulichukuliwa Jumapili saa 6 ya mchana.
The family has searched for Munene's body in neighboring counties but has not found it. The morgue said they had no choice but to release the body to the wife as she was the one who booked it in. Father to Munene, David Njeru, stated that those who visited the accident scene suspected foul play. Njeru noted that the car had very little damage and he don't believe the impact could have killed his son.
Siku chache baadaye ndio nikaondoka nikakimbia kwa scene of accident kujua ukweli wa mambo. Nilipofika kwa scene of accident niliona kama iko kitu hatuambiwi. Hiyo gari haingeua mtu. Kama ingekuwa ametoka na windscreen tungesema ni gari ilimuua.
Village elder Silas Njeru urged authorities to intervene. He affirmed that the family is in deep pain and the funeral plans have stopped. He also proclaimed that a respected doctor's body is missing and the government must step in to help.
Serikali ingilie, DCI waingilie, tunjue ukweli kwa maana hii masisi imekatiswa na vile tulikuwa tunapenda huyu daktari, wazazi wake wanalia, sasa hii ni picha gani kwa kijiji?
This has left many in suspense. Could the wife be behind Munene's murder? And will the government step in to assist the Munene's family in the quest for justice and uncover the truth behind Munene's death? Vivian Scalabo, GBS News.
It is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming in our social media handles at GBS TV Africa, and our SMS line is 21144. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back.
Today, it's that day that I would like us just to have that conversation on monthly matters.
Let's talk of Mama Fua, who like akifanya shughuli zake hapa kule has more or less that amount.
Yeah, so on that part, I would say this. When you are doing your savings, you can have, we normally talk about having 3 buckets. So we will just talk about income, budgeting, saving, and investment. Those are the 4 areas we will look at.
Happens to those like me who are planning to retire early.
We are basically looking at our incomes. We also talk about savings and investment. So those are the 3. I will not add the 4th one, which we all shy of talking about. So I would say it's not how much I am earning, but it is how much I set aside. So
and the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu. Plus kwa chile hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori. Niwaambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo huku atriki kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekuingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
To spend most of the time kwa simu, also you need to run skills. So nilipatana na place hapa nikapo apply huko, and then I started learning skills, digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend to wiki nzima. Napata shiki simu yangu.
The gift of a man will place you in a company of great men. Inaweza kufungulia mlango mingi. What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast?
The fact that I started selling art, that's where the interest came in. Yeah, they know, yeah, this thing can pay.
And who has been your biggest cheerleader in your art journey?
My biggest?
Cheerleader. Ule mwenye anakuwa.
Oh yeah, IG, I'm artist Victor Mtua. Facebook is Victor Mtua. Of course, the first time I sold my art at relatively 50K.
Ati?
Niliuza art yangu like 50K.
Oh, Victor, kwanza before hata uoneshane watu paintings zako, nataka kuuliza, if I was to pay you, nikwambie like usiwahi chora tena, usiwahi paint tena, would you? Unaweza acha? You are famous, what will your stage name be?
My stage name?
ungekuwa pale kwa stage, ungekuwa unajiintroduce kana nani?
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to international news. A mysterious illness has claimed the lives of dozens and left many more severely ill in the northwestern Equator province in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Health authorities are racing to understand the cause as the situation continues to worsen, with hundreds of cases reported in just a matter of days. Despite extensive testing, the source remains unknown, leaving experts scrambling for answers.
A mysterious illness has claimed the lives of numerous individuals and left many more seriously ill in the northwestern Equator province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The World Health Organization confirmed the alarming outbreak, where spokesperson Tariq described the rapid spread of the illness, with cases escalating in a matter of days, posing a significant threat to public health. As of now, 419 cases have been reported, with 53 fatalities spanning across 2 remote villages in the Equator province. Despite extensive testing, samples have returned negative results for both Ebola and Marburg viruses, leaving health officials struggling to identify the cause of this deadly outbreak. The situation began on January 21st in 2 villages, where the first victims were children who reportedly consumed a bat before falling ill and succumbing to the disease within 48 hours. This troubling detail has raised concerns about the potential links between animal to human transmission and the unexplained illness. With limited infrastructure, difficult access to the affected regions, and a lack of laboratory facilities, local health authorities are facing significant challenges in containing the outbreak. The World Health Organization spokesperson emphasized the urgent need of international support to help transport samples to laboratories that are better equipped to analyze and address the situation. Health officials are working diligently to understand the mode of transmission and determine whether human-to-human spread is possible, but until the source of the outbreak is identified, the crisis continues to unfold with the potential for further loss of life. The World Health Organization has called for greater international collaboration to support the local response and mitigate the impact of this mysterious and deadly illness. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Chaos unfolded in Bukavu, eastern DR Congo, as gunfire and explosions disrupted a mass rally by rebel leader Colonel Nanga. Panicked crowds fled as people were killed and wounded, with harrowing footage showing bleeding victims and bodies carried through the streets. The exact casualty counts remain unknown.
Panic and chaos erupted in the eastern Congolese city of Bukavu on Thursday as gunfire and explosion tore through a mass rally held by rebel leader Colonel Naga. Residents reported scenes of devastation as people fled in terror, with many injured and others killed in the violence. Eyewitnesses described blood-soaked streets as wounded. Individuals desperately sought help, while others carried lifeless bodies away from the scene. Videos circulating on social media captured the harrowing moments, showing people running for safety amid the deafening sound of gunfire and blast.
Yesu! Mungu wewe nikisinaangusha watu chini, mame naua watu. Ndio naua watu wabanikuwa siku plus situation kwa wapi? Mungu wa mbinguni.
Hii inapaswa kwa watu prepare vile mavitu ndio maana. Baliona binaisha baifiatule vya vile,
Although residents confirmed seeing multiple casualties, there was no immediate official count on the number of those killed or injured. Authorities have yet to release a statement on the attack, leaving questions unanswered about who was responsible and what triggered the violence. The incidents underscored the fragile security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo, particularly in the eastern regions, where armed groups and political tensions continue to fuel instability. Naga, a former electoral commission chief turned rebel leader, has been a controversial figure, and his movement have heightened tensions in the conflict-ridden region. As the situation unfolds, concern grow over potential escalation and the impact on Bukavu's already vulnerable population. Peris Kigo, GBS News.
Amazon has unveiled Alexa Plus, an advanced AI-powered version of its voice assistant designed to offer more natural and personalized interactions. Priced at $19.99 per month, Alexa Plus is a free for Amazon Prime members. The assistant can perform tasks such as booking restaurants, creating recipes, managing smart home devices, and remembering user preferences. It features a more expressive voice capable of detecting emotional cues, aiming to reduce misunderstandings. Here's more on the scene.
Amazon has officially launched Alexa Plus, a next-generation AI version of its popular voice assistant. This major upgrade integrates generative artificial intelligence to make Alexa more conversational and personalized. Alexa Plus uses various AI models, including Amazon's Nova and Anthropic's, to provide more natural interaction and handle complex tasks.
She's been trained in a couple of different ways, from EQ to humor to understanding. So what that means is she checks my tone. She brings a nice tone back. She understands I'm a little bit nervous. She's trying to calm me. It's kind of a great conversation. Also recognizes the environment around us.
Alexa Plus can perform tasks like booking reservation, managing smart home devices, and analyzing documents. It will be available in late March, priced at $19.99 per month, but free for Amazon Prime members.
How are you actually using this new generative AI revolution to make Alexa meaningfully better? And so our team has been working on this for several months. I've had a chance to use it for the last several weeks. It is really remarkable in my opinion.
This launch positions Amazon competitively against other AI-driven assistants like Google's Gemini and Apple's Siri. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
The Syria Justice and Accountability Center are set to release a report indicating that they have identified mass graves in a notorious airport prison that was used to torture and execute critics of the former Assad regime. The report includes testimony from prisoners who witnessed the horrors of the notorious prison. Here is more on the scene.
It is estimated that more than 1,000 Syrians have perished in a notorious military airport prison located in Mezze on the outskirts of Damascus. Another site located in Najah shows evidence of mass graves. The Syria Justice and Accountability Center are set to release a detailed report later today that shows evidence that they have identified mass graves in the notorious airport prison. The airport was used as a torture camp to arrest and silence critics of the former Assad regime, who was ousted last December. The report will focus on the atrocities committed on the years of 2011 to 2017 by the Assad regime. The military airport had 29,000 detainees. From 2011 to 2017, the Air Force intelligence altered the airport by converting hangars, dormitories, and offices into prison cells. The airport hangar was used as an execution center for those who were sentenced to death. According to the witnesses, soldiers were executed by a firing squad while civilians were hanged in the gallows. The newly formed government is still investigating the numerous atrocities committed by the Assad regime. Witnesses, survivors, and law enforcement officers that were coordinating arrest, torture, and execution are providing their testimonies to their government. Back in December, the discovery of the horrors of Sednaya prison has shocked the world. It is estimated that there are still 100,000 prisoners who are still missing missing to this day, and their fates remains unknown. Will the Justice and Accountability team provide a resolution to the bereaved family members who are still searching for their loved ones? Only time will tell how this tragic event will unfold. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments will lead efforts to retrieve and preserve the looted Benin bronzes with the approval of Oba of Benin. While the 2023 decree affirmed the Oba's ownership, the NCM will handle conservation and negotiations as talks with institutions like Cambridge University continue.
Nigeria's National Commission for Museums and Monuments will take charge of retrieving and preserving the Benin bronzes with approval of the Oba of Benin, the rightful owner of the artifacts. The bronzes looted by British soldiers in 1897 from the former Kingdom of Benin remain largely in European museums. A 2023 decree by former President Muhammadu Buhari confirmed the Oba's ownership, but the NCMM, Director General of Hollyway, said the royal palace lacks the infrastructure to care for them. With the Oba's consent, NCMM will now oversee the conservation and negotiation for their return.
It currently doesn't have the museum professionals. It doesn't have the conservators. It doesn't have the gallery attendants. So the NCMM, being the legitimate agency mandated by the government to administer antiquities, is the logical partner. And that is where the management agreement between the Oba and the NCMM comes in.
Talks with Cambridge University, which pose plans to return over 100 bronzes, are ongoing. The return of the Benin bronze marks a step toward justice, heritage restoration, and cultural dignity. Paris Kigo, GBS News.
Hamas has released the deceased bodies of 4 Israeli hostages who were held in captivity in Gaza. The hostages were transported to a forensic clinic where pathologists are investigating the cause of their deaths. In exchange, Israel has released 620 Palestinian detainees. Furthermore, the first phase of the ceasefire agreement will end on Saturday. Hamas has stated that they are fully committed to move forward to the next phase. Abdi Hamid Ali has more.
Hamas handed over the deceased bodies of 4 Israeli hostages who were held in captivity in Gaza. The hostages were taken by a convoy to a forensic clinic to determine the cause of their untimely death. Hamas identified the 4 hostages. Their names are Sachi Idan, Itzhak Elgarat, Ohad Yalomi, and Shlomo Mantzur. They were abducted by Hamas on 7th of October 2023. The office of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that the deceased bodies were being verified in the pathologist clinic, and families of the deceased will be notified once the investigation ends. In exchange of the handover, Israel has released 620 Palestinian prisoners, including 445 men, 24 women and minors, and 151 Palestinian prisoners serving life sentences for carrying out attacks in Israel. The prisoners were transported to Khan Yunis in Gaza and Ramallah in the West Bank. The prisoners celebrated with the crowd in jubilation.
What we've been through is a situation that the mountains can't carry. It's very hard to explain. It's very hard to talk about what we've been through.
Another 100 Palestinian prisoners were transferred to Egypt as they were allegedly part of the October 7th attacks. Some detainees were transported to the hospital after their release due to poor conditions in the Israeli prison. 580 more prisoners are expected to be released today. As the Saturday deadline is approaching, US President Donald Trump received global backlash for sharing an artificial intelligence video showcasing Gaza as a beach resort without the native inhabitants of the land. The video also has images of Elon Musk and Netanyahu sunbathing with Trump. A Palestinian in Gaza had this message for Trump.
I was checking my mobile phone. I found that Trump, the President of the United States of America, published a video that he wants to rebuild Gaza after displacing its people. So we are asking him, why displace its people? Why doesn't he come? Welcome, come and rebuild Gaza with its people in it. Its people can rebuild it. he can pay money, fix things, and free us from this occupation.
The first phase of the ceasefire ends on Saturday. A total of 33 Israeli hostages and 2,000 Palestinian prisoners were released. However, 59 more Israeli hostages are still in Gaza with their fate unknown. Hamas has stated they are committed to move forward with the second phase of the ceasefire, but as Saturday is approaching, peace is still elusive in the volatile region. This is Abdihamid Ali, GBS News.
And that's all we had for you tonight at GBS News at 9. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Adams Maina. Good night.